Greetings to you all. My name is Luke Bom. I'm here to take you through the topic ICT governance of the MIS syllabus. This topic is a topic about how the ICT resources in the organization will be controlled or monitored in order to ensure a smooth running of the organization. In lesson 1 of this topic, we will be looking at a few areas on the general ICT governance. The areas that we'll cover in lesson 1 talk about terminology, talk about objectives of ICT governance, talk about ICT governance focus areas. We will be looking at monitoring, controls, and risks related to ICT resources and policies, as well as the procedures that will help us to govern the use of ICT resources. So let us start by asking ourselves, what is ICT governance? But before even we define ICT governance, let's look at what is corporate governance, because corporate governance and business governance or enterprise governance will help us to define ICT governance. So let us first of all look at the terminology, and we start by talking about corporate governance. So corporate governance talks about the system by which the current and future use of ICT is directed and controlled. It normally involves evaluating and directing the plans for the use of ICT to support the organization and monitor the use of ICT resources that relates to a corporate organization. So the corporate governance looks at the entire organization and looks at also how customers and suppliers will perceive the governance procedures. Then also in the terminology, we look at enterprise governance. Enterprise governance. So what is enterprise governance? Enterprise governance talks about a set of responsibilities and practices exercised by the board and executive management with one goal, that is to provide strategic direction and ensure the objectives are achieved. That is now enterprise governance. So for both the enterprise governance and corporate governance, we need what we call ICT governance, because without ICT, both of those two will not be able to succeed. So we also need to define what ICT governance is. ICT governance is a technique normally defined as the responsibility of the top managers or the board of directors to define procedures that will ensure proper use of the ICT resources and proper management of the ICT resources. We are normally told that for effective ICT governance, an effective ICT governance will answer 3 questions. Now the 3 questions are: what decisions must be made? Another one is how are they made and monitored? That is how the decisions are made and monitored, and who should make these decisions. So that is what ICT governance looks at. We don't just make decisions for the sake of making them. We ask ourselves, why are we making the decisions? And the organization must make sure that those who are making the decisions are well trained and well known so that they can be able to take responsibility. Now, still in ICT governance, we say that it is defined. It can be defined as the organizational capacity exercised by the board of directors and executive management to ensure proper control and formulation, as well as implementation of IT in the organization. If I want to introduce ICT procedures in the organization, I need to think about the ICT governance. How will I be able to control and implement the activities in the particular organization? Now, next we look at is objectives or goals of ICT governance. The objectives or goals. or goals of ICT governance. Why is it that organizations should think about the objectives or goals of ICT governance? The first point is to ensure that the investments in ICT generate business value. If we don't govern how the ICT hardware or how the ICT software or how the other resources are used, then we'll not be able to achieve the business value. Number two, as the objective, is to mitigate the risks that are associated with ICT. Governance helps us to identify, assess, and mitigate the risks that are likely to occur as a result of the use of ICT. The number three, under the objectives or goals, is to reduce the cost of ICT operations. We don't want to spend a lot of money on the ICT wing of the organization. So if there's proper governance, that means the failure rates will be low and will reduce the cost. Number four, to ensure proper use of ICT resources. Governance will ensure that people are trained on how to use the ICT, the data, the software, the hardware, and that relates to that particular objective. And number five, to improve data security and also to enhance data privacy. That is courtesy of governance. So for us to make the correct decisions in ICT use, those goals are very, very important in the running of ICT in the organization. The other subtopic that we look at in this lesson is talking about ICT governance areas. ICT governance areas. We have a number of ICT governance areas. The areas that require the crucialness or the seriousness of ICT governance. In practice, ICT governance supports the business, adding plus value through the IT component. So we are looking at those areas that are risk prone, the areas that are so organizations cannot leave. We normally call them domains. One of the areas, I'll just mention them first. They include IT strategic alignment. Governance is so important in IT strategic alignment. There's also value delivery, which requires the ICT governance. There is risk management as an area. There is resource management as an area. And there is performance measurement as an area. So let's look at the first area, that is alignment of IT strategy and business strategy as the first focus area of IT or ICT governance. Now, it's very important for us to align the IT and the business strategy in the organization. For the alignment to be effective, we need resources, and those resources must be governed. The use of those resources, the decision making in this area must be governed. So we normally say that for IT, for the business to be effective, ICT must be put in place. And there must be a governance principle to ensure that succeeds. We are told the IT governance practices that are relevant to this particular area include the following. One talks about ensuring that IT strategy is aligned with the business strategy. That is a governance practice for this particular focus area. Number two talks about ensuring that IT delivers against the strategy through clear expectations. There must be clear expectations and measurement for us to ensure that the delivery is well done. And we also told another focus area is to ensure that IT investments are allocated proper budgets so that they don't fail. And the last practice, the last governance practice for this focus area is to provide high-level direction to create competitive advantage that parallel compliance processes. Those are the focus areas or the governance practices in that focus area. Now, the second focus area is value delivery. Every organization focuses on delivering value to its employees or to its customers and suppliers. Starting from the employees, the organization should ensure that the ICT systems are benefiting the employees. They are well set up so that when the employees use them, they are comfortable, they are not compromising their health, etc. the ICT value delivery is defined as delivering on time within the budget and also delivering useful data. That is when we say that IT delivers value. So because ICT is so important in value delivery, it must be governed. And we normally we usually say the governance practices for IT value delivery will include the following. The governance practices for IT value delivery will include the following. The first point, ensure that IT plans proceed on schedule.